Welcome and thank you for reviewing another faculty pre-departure orientation video. This video is entitled Federal, State, and System Policies. This video is intended to serve as a reminder and highlight some of the challenges while abroad in fully applying many of the standard laws and practices already familiar to us working in higher education. Laws such as the ADA and Title IX are both applicable and not fully enforceable in the international context. The most simple takeaway from this disconnect is that CSUF and all parties working with us on study abroad or study away programming will seek to enforce and uphold these laws to the best of our abilities in meeting due diligence to all students of our responsibility of appropriate care and oversight. Briefly, we will review a few of these federal policies and how the study abroad environment might affect their enforcement. Most faculty and staff are familiar with the Americans with Disability Act of 1990, or the ADA, in the context of classroom and academic access, which is of course just one part of the law. Should a student self-identify a need for accommodation to complete their coursework, the Office of Study Abroad will connect the student, the faculty member, and the Office of Disability Support Services. Between those parties, the appropriate accommodation can be determined given the context of the program location, recognizing that the same accommodation available on the CSUF campus may or may not be available in the international context. Sometimes, a student may wish to discuss the ADA in terms of building or vehicle accessibility, such as wheelchair ramps or elevators. The faculty and staff leading the program, the CSUF Office of Study Abroad, and the supporting travel or study abroad provider will work together to determine what is available and feasible for the site. This will vary radically and may require additional consultation and conversation, as the same accommodation found in the U.S. may not be available in the international context. In any of these scenarios, please be aware that the colleagues on campus in offices that enforce these policies will work with all parties to assure a feasible and appropriate outcome. All faculty, staff, and students have undergone the CSUF Title IX training and refresher courses. As a brief reminder, while abroad with students, you may be the only reporting official on site. The basic rule of thumb is to remember the phrase support and report, as it is your responsibility to do both. An incident of alleged sexual misconduct, an apparent Title IX offense, can be made highly complicated by the international context depending on the events. An example of this would be the involvement of local legal authorities, which may or may not hold the same approach or standards of action with respect to an apparent Title IX incident, such as an allegation of rape. Supporting the students is always paramount and may require very quick thinking on your part. Mapping this possibility out in your mind and developing a plan of action is not a bad idea. One immediate takeaway is to work directly with the CSUF Title IX office in any and all circumstances. We highly recommend keeping these contacts available at the ready. Remember, the only office to which you should report a Title IX incident is the CSUF Title IX office, as the privacy of involved individuals is also important. That office will work with the appropriate offices on campus, which may include CSUF Legal Counsel, the Office of Study Abroad, Risk Management, etc. Should you want to review the CSUF Title IX training curriculum and/or discuss plans of action on additional questions, please do not hesitate to contact either the Office of Title IX or the CSUF Office of Study Abroad. The Clery Act of 1990 requires that all crime statistics associated with campus property and activities be reported annually. While in general, crime statistics are reported centrally through the campus police department, the applicability of this law to a study abroad program is still a bit murky. One area that is agreed upon is if it is a crime, in particular a crime that was reported to local authorities, that takes place while abroad and a student is involved. In this case, it should be reported. In the context of study abroad, while violent crime is always possible, the vast majority of these crimes will be petty theft, such as pickpocketing. We do require students to review pre-departure videos that are aimed at reducing such incidents, but invariably these events will occur. If an incident takes place, please work with the CSUF Office of Study Abroad to report it. A few federal laws about which participating faculty may be aware are FERPA, Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, and the CMIA, Confidentiality of Medical Information Act, which is the California state law equivalent of the federal law, HIPAA, Health Information Portability and Accountability Act. In the context of study abroad, faculty and staff leading students should remember that the full weight of a student's privacy rights under FERPA are still intact. We are aware that some parents wish to be extra engaged in a student's international education, and that it has the potential to present additional anxiety to many a parent. However, please continue to protect all students' privacy as you would on campus. This includes both in and out-of-class activities on study abroad. The CMIA, and by implication HIPAA, are included in this orientation because the CSUF Office of Study Abroad collects selective health information about participating students, and you have access to that information among your student participants. The best practice is that this information should be used exclusively on a need-to-know basis and remain private. An example of appropriately sharing this information would be the following scenario. A student has disclosed in their materials that they are highly allergic to medication and have been rushed to a hospital. Disclosing this to the medical staff there would be appropriate and within the bounds of responsible oversight. Please do not hesitate to contact the Office of Study Abroad. We are ready to assist.